Welcome back to Worthington Model Railway. It's taken me a while to get around to doing this video. Had a few things going on, but I'm going to look at the Hush Hush, the W1. There have been a number of people before me done this, but this one's going to be slightly different in terms of looking at the Hush Hush because there's four of them here. Sometimes I do things kind of on a whim, and I had pre-ordered the Hush Hush, and I thought I'd pre-ordered two Hush Hush, one of the original and one of the rebuilt. Somehow or other, I ordered four of them. So we're going to look at all of them. These actually arrived about a month ago. I've just been really busy doing stuff, and I really wanted to do this where we look at them all together, so it's a case of finding time to do that. So in this box there are four Hornby Hush Hushes, and we'll get them out and we'll look at them. Now obviously I run a DCC layout, and I needed to put DCC decoders in these. There are some people starting to produce some sound decoders that are supposedly closer to the Hush Hush than the A4. A lot of people have been using the TTS A4s or the A4 decoders that are out there because they're pretty close. I just ordered four TTS A4 decoders that are going to go in these for the moment. Maybe we'll upgrade them at some point, but that's what I have for the moment to go in them. So I've got to put those decoders in them before we stick them on the layout. So I just thought we'll unbox them and we can look at the four variants here that I have in a little bit more detail. Probably in the interests of trying to keep this video not too long, we'll take a quick look at each one of them in this video, and then we'll do a second video of them actually running on the layout and pulling some things. Now I have already opened them all. I opened them when they arrived because of all of the stories I've heard about breakage and problems and issues, and I do know there is an issue on one of these with the front steps not being attached is the best way for me to put it. So at some point I've got to super glue those steps back on, but otherwise they arrived intact as far as I know, and I haven't really had a really detailed look at them, which is what we're going to do now. So let's just start off by getting these out of the boxes. And what they call the Promotional, which is the original Hush Hush in the LNER apple green. Of course, as we all know, there was only ever one Hush Hush, so you really are not going to be running multiple of these at the same time, but it is kind of nice to have the full collection. So those are the four Hush Hushes, and if we just look at the okay, so we have R3840. This one is R3844. You can see that there. This one is 3843, and this one is 3842. Not sure what happened to R3841, but these are the numberings on them. So let's start at the beginning with the original livery. Then we'll go to the green one, and then we will look at the two rebuilt ones. One LNER and one in British Rail green with the early Crest. So this is the one that I think we've probably seen the most in terms of reviews on YouTube, being the original one. Let's open this up and have a look. I mean, it is a beautiful locomotive, and I would say that Hornby did do an excellent job with this. Let's get it out of the package here. Obviously there's the info, which is the same for the original and the rebuilt. Not a lot in the detail pack. We do get the flanged wheels for the rear bogie and a couple of pipes and brake pipes there, and also the couplings. So I don't believe there is any damage on this. Certainly is a very beautiful model. Sprung buffers, all these separately fitted rails. The livery is just amazing. Okay, there we go. The livery is just superb. All of the valve gear and what have you here is just magnificent. Everything about this locomotive, I just be careful handling it here because I don't want there to be any problems with it. You can see there's not, applied detail is just perfect. It's simple. Coloring is good. These roof vents do, I believe, open and close. There we go. Let's have a look at the detail in the cab, which is just phenomenal. I think you can see most of that. I'm not going to take them apart so you can see it, but just look at all of the detail, even down to all those gauges there. Okay, so let's look at the front of the locomotive. It has the fitted lamps and smokebox detail is really nice. I think we can see the printing. Get it to focus. Please focus. There we go. And then the rear of the tender, corridor tender with again beautifully fitted handrails. We have sprung buffers at both ends. The detail on this valve gear and these steps is just amazing. Absolutely phenomenal. You can see daylight, I think, just about through there. Certainly I can see daylight as we look at this. And the pistons and valve gear is just wonderful. Nice maker's plate there. Okay, so that's that one. Let's look at the next one. So this is the one I have to be a little bit careful with. Basically have the identical detail pack in here. But you will notice here is the step that I found loose in the box that I need to stick back on. I'm thinking just a little super glue will solve that problem. It's missing from this area right here. Let's open this up and we can look at this one alongside the other one. In some ways, the livery on this one is even nicer. We look at these boiler bands there. I mean, they're double. I don't know if you can see that. They're not a single line. They're a double line on there. And this lining, this red lining on the tender and the rear pony truck, it's just spectacular too. There's just as much of the same detail in the cab. Wonderful. Really not a lot to say. I mean, they're pretty much identical in terms of what's been done with them. Just a few changes to the livery, really. Everything else about them is pretty much the same. Both kind of spectacular looking locomotives. We put them side by side. That's one thing I just noticed. I don't know if that is a... No. I thought that there was a problem with the lettering, but it doesn't look that way. Looks like it actually has a number 2 inside the 1000 there. You can see that there. So there we go. That's those two locomotives. Need to actually, I'm just going to put this into the parts bag here. That way I won't lose it. Okay, let's get both of the rebuilt ones out and look at those. So here's the British Railways green with early Crest. Again, same, like identical parts. Don't think there's anything different in here. I don't know, well, maybe we'll have to see. Actually, I do think there are different exhaust parts in there. Look at the other one. Yes, there are. Right here, you can see those the brass in this one. They were a different color than the others. And in fact, looking at the LNER lined one, they have a get red on them. They are different again. Anyway, I think you can just about see that. It said. Maybe you can see that in there. You see the red on them. So, really no changes on the tender side that I can see. I think the tenders are pretty much identical. However, obviously, the body on this is much more like the streamlined A4. Again, the detail is just phenomenal. There is a change to the valve gear, obviously, and this is much closer to the A4 valve gear. The lining on this one is, again, really well done printing. Very nice early British Railways Crest there. We have similar detail in the cab, but it's interesting to note that the cab is different. I'll show both cabs together in a minute so you can see that. Obviously the front end is very different. It does have the sprung buffers, however, and we can see the number on the smoke box door, which is much more like the A4 with the similar A4 double chimney there. And these cab roof vents open and close too. Half glazed windows here. Obviously the windows changed. Let me pull this one down for a second just so we can see some of the changes here. We now have double windows. We only had one window before. Let me see if I can show these the cab detail differences. That's that cab. I don't know if I can show them both together. Try. Hopefully you can see the difference there in terms of the gauges and how the cabs look very different inside. So here we have the rebuilt in LNER, I believe Garter blue with the red wheels, looking very much like an LNER A4, plus different wheel arrangement. The same detail pack with the brass piping there. Now the main difference between these two is that this one has a full valance on it and the other one doesn't. But let's start off by just sort of taking a quick look around this one. You'll also see that this one does have a different tender on it. So let's show you the model first and then we'll show you some of the differences. And I don't know quite what is going on there. Looks like some oil smeared on there. Multiple roof vents on this. That's on the other one. Less lining. I mean, we have the lining in the front here, the blue and black, and we have the numbering down on the beam down there. So it has sprung buffers, but a little bit of a mark down there. I'm not sure quite what that is. The numbering is very nice, but to say less lining on this. It does have the red wheels. Similar cab detail to the other one. There we go. You can see that there. As I say, it's a different tender. Let's put the two together and you can see there immediately, I think, the difference in the tender. But otherwise, pretty much identical. But let's have a look at the difference here. So obviously this one is open and this one has the full skirting on the bottom here. So they do look quite different in this area. Just to bring the others in, you can see these three all do have the same tender. Sorry. Well, actually they don't. So these two have the same tender. Move these down. You can now see the tender. We can now maybe see the tender differences. So I think here now we can see the differences in the tenders, in the four tenders. These two tenders are pretty much identical. This one has a different positioning on the filler. It doesn't have this area here. It has a slight bend in the thing here. This one has a full cover on the back with the filler. Fill in a different position. There's this stuff going on here, and has the full rounded area there. And if we actually look at the back of the tenders, it's interesting to note that this one doesn't have a full corridor tender. This is just a blank tender. These are full corridors, and those three are pretty much the same from the corridor point of view. There are some slight differences on the front of the tender in between the cabs, but it's difficult for me to show you those. So I think it's really nice to actually have the multiple versions of this and to be able to compare them. So that's the top view. Let me roll them over just a little and pull the camera up a little so there we go. I think now we can see the side view of the 4 different versions, different liveries, some of the differences between the 4 Locos. So I now have to go away and I have to DCC fit all these, and we will get them on the layout, and hopefully some point in the next few days I will put up a video of them running. I probably won't put a video of DCC fitting them. It's fairly simple. A couple of screws out, take the tender out, stick the chip in, and we're done. But I think it's definitely interesting to see them all together, which I haven't seen anybody else showing this on YouTube. Let me know if you like them, which one you like better, you know, whether you have a preference or not, and we'll see you soon. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this quick look at 4 different versions of the Hornby W1 Hush Hush. As always, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do. Subscribe button to the top right, another video to the top left.